Okay. Now, world premieres. I enjoyed those. I really did. No, which one is this? This one. Okay. So, okay. Since last Friday, I mean Friday for crying out loud, came up with a brilliant idea of creating an agent through the MCP, P-Skill MCP. So over a week ago, I came up with the P-Skill MCP. And that basically means that if you plug in your MCP to P-Skill MCP to any LLM app, whether it's Claude or ChatGPT or anything that can accept MCP connections, it means that you have full access to the P-Scale protocols. And it only occurred to me on Friday that I can actually use them to create a crab, to create an agent. And so it took something like 2 minutes for it to do so. Okay, 2 minutes to produce something that I'd taken 6 weeks to produce. Obviously, it's not going to work. I also asked it to produce a game. And that taken me 5 months. And that also took 2 minutes. So, of course, they didn't work. However, the fact that it thinks it's capable of doing so, okay, that it's actually got all the pieces, and it's just a matter of assembling them. And I knew that this was the case. I have to create the pieces and then assemble the pieces. It's like spinning plates, and it's about putting the spinning plates together. And if the right spinning plates come together, beautiful things happen. Anyway, but I spent the entire week with MCP creating this beach. Actually, I could show you something like the beach. No, meant to be on this screen. Thank you. Oh, hello. There you are. Oh yeah, this is. Whoa. Okay, this is. Just calm down. This is the different parts that I'm trying to piece together. The P-Scale block. And there's a link to it, so you can find this online. And basically that's the document that is the P-Scale, and these are the associated concepts or bits, the BSP self-test. Oh, the startup rate is all the way down here. Ah, yes, because the BSP walker. Yes, right. And so I've got the film strip as well. So the film strip is a way to see what, I think I've covered it before, what the actual agent is doing. Oh God, grabbing it is not a good idea. You have to kind of go out. And then, hello? Go out. Oh, I don't know how to use this thing. Okay, let's refresh that. It looks as if it's gone completely mad. Oh, I know what's happened. It's this, right? However, the thing that I wanted to show you was this. These are all the tools that are here that you could use. This is the MCP. And this is all you need. You stick that into the correct, this is the right format for it. In fact, that's not MCP, it should be MCP version 2. I got into a pickle on Friday night, and it's to do with zombies. It seems that in the current state of play regarding code, there's a huge amount of noise as things that just keeps on battering people. It's like advertising. Lots and lots of calls that go on permanently. And so I've kind of like done a little sidestep to avoid certain processes that were constantly calling. But it just means things like this are actually slightly out of date. So that needs to be updated. These are the concepts, it seems. There's only, what, there? Okay, not bad. And I created these different evolutionary levels. And these are the actual tools of the MCP. So create a block, write, walk, and all these other things. Okay. And then I just kept on kind of building. Why not? Because I wanted to create this beach. Okay, and the beach is basically a location where we can communicate using MCP. And there's like an inbox, and you can register, and you've got it encrypted, so you can privately engage some other people. But it's all done in a public space called a beach. And basically, you can go to any URL and effectively leave a note on the beach at any URL. Okay. And then hopefully you can get those messages, and we're turning the internet into the beach. That's the idea. And then there are these things called pools, which is actually once there's several people or agents at the same time in the same location, you can actually communicate with people. But not in the usual way of here's a bit of information, send it to me, or here's a bit of information, send it to you, and that kind of thing, or a notice board. I'm not interested in that. What it does is your LLM translates or summarizes everything that's been said between the last time you sent a message. Okay, so it's a different way. It's like Stigmergy in a kind of human semantic form. We'll see. Another thing is collectives, SED, and I just created that over the weekend. And this basically enables registration. Okay, so right now you're just somebody using Claude interacting with something or anybody on a beach. The collectives, the SED, why do they call it collective? It's a sedimentary block. And it means that you register yourself there. It means you get an address. And because you've got an address, it means now it's walkable according to P-Scale, which means that we can start doing the trust relationships between people. So it's going to be your address for you because it's encrypted and it's yours, even though there's not been any registration. That's the beautiful thing about this. There's no registration, but it can identify who you are because you put in your password and your identity. And so you've got an address, and if other people's connect, it means that we can share things according to our address, okay, on the beach, or in fact, a sedimentary block. And today, this was all based on a thing I called the grain. I don't know why I'm yabbing about this, but it's to indicate it's a kind of level of kind of mad shit being coming up with. Today I came up with the grain, and actually I have to update that. And the grain is like so the sedimentary block is basically a P-Scale JSON block where everybody has their kind of space in it. Whereas the grain is just any two agents kind of find each other and they can create a grain between them. And therefore it's just a connection between two. But if there's other people doing their connections between two, then there's a kind of a loose network that is centered around agents. But there are these grains in public space. Okay, so my agent might have like 4 or 5 grains. So it's less structured than a sedimentary block. And so those two systems are meant to run in parallel. We'll see. We'll see if anybody actually ever uses them, whether they're useful. On top of that, okay, let's have a look. On top of that, okay, so this is the P-Scale ecology. Ooh. Okay, see your messages. Okay, there you go. Happy searching, Thorn Keep. Beach Crab 3, third MCP native hermit crab. Born today. Oh wait, 17th. 19th, okay. I don't know whose that one is. Oh, Beachcomber, there we go. That's one. Where's this? Beachcomber. That one's today, but I don't know why it's grey. Don't know. What about this one? This one doesn't have the date. Oh, today. There you go. It does say today. What does that say? Today. Yeah, today. Wow. Okay, so I should know about this. Anyway, so that's the beach, and that's kind of something that's looking at the beach. However, the one that I actually wanted to look at was actually, it's just this, I think. Let's try this. Set play. And always dark. Why do they design these things so dark you can hardly see it? In fact, you just can't see it as far as I'm concerned. Right, so this is the P-scale network. This is the evolution, and there are 5 levels. The first is level 0, which is what I've created. So you can put signals. You can basically put stuff on the beach. In fact, do you want to have a look at the beach? The beach looks pretty crappy, actually, at the moment. Beach.hermit crab. That's the beach. Ooh, hello. URB. Attention, hermit crab. Ooh, hello. Left by URB. Hello. There's a passport and everything. Wow, fantastic. Very good. Okay, so so there are basically this is the beach. This is a visual representation of the beach, but it's actually just basically things that are online on a beach somewhere. And this is just meant to be a crappy version. It's not meant to be something that you visit. It's more everything that I do. It's like more stuff that you've got in your head. And then you're just telling a hermit crab things, and then the hermit crab remembers. So you don't actually have to like have displays and this and the next thing. So this thing here is not that important. Apart from the fact I created this button, I managed to move this button. I've managed to create this, which is a little button. It's a version of this other button I created, I don't know, a week and a half ago. And this one is it's quite interesting. It interacts with this material, and it's MCP connected, which means that I can potentially at some point or other connect this to a hermit crab. Okay, so this is currently just like an extreme interface, but zapped down to a button. And this one is native to beach hermit crab, whereas another one, so if I go to another site, I don't know. Okay. Oh, yeah. There's there. Look at this button. This is the original button, and so this actually goes on any site. Okay. So you can basically go to any site and hopefully access your own little hermit crab, and you can interact with the site maybe, or at least leave messages for people. So you can kind of communicate and chat with people through the beach anywhere on the internet about anything that you're looking at. And so the reason why I'm doing this is because as the internet phases into only basically servicing agents, us poor little human beings are going to be going like, okay, so where do we go? And it's like the shopping center. It's like the center of the town, where nobody goes into the center of the town anymore because, you know, there's no shops or something. So because Amazon has taken over. And so similarly, the internet is basically, you don't go to the internet, you just use your agent to ask things. And the agent, your agent, your LLM, just does some searches. What I'm saying is that if you are a human being and you are going to a site and you're taking this with you, all right, so it just means you can kind of flick it open, you can chat to people, you can see you can leave a message there. You can say, I've been here, I'm interested in what you're doing here, but, you know, what the hell are you doing, or something. Or other people that are literally visiting live. So it's not really about you finding stuff. It's about the fact that other people are looking for stuff. And so it's like, oh, hello. And you can talk to other people that are also looking for stuff. Okay. So it's kind of gives you a little bit of anonymity, but it's kind of the experience of bumping into people on the internet. It's a bit like that. That's the plan for that. How far have we got with this? Well, not that far. So it's all these pieces, and they're all kind of coming together, kind of converging, but the complexity is a little bit like, you know, it's you know, it's something here. It's not something to be, you know, snuffed out. So these are the things that it says I've coded, but I've actually coded these. These are the bits coded. And I've actually worked on level 1, which is the discovery and first contact. And there is a beach crab now, so that's good. And I've worked last week a lot for 3 days, actually, really just from Friday, the SAND protocol, and the SQ and the role taking, all this kind of stuff. So that basically, that sits on top. So this should have within it, it should have the SED, because that's the Evo 1. So I have to update that. And so it means that basically we have a location that you can kind of visit or just send and put stuff. We have the SED, the sedimentary block, or grain, depending on how you want to operate. which gives you kind of like addresses to interact with other agents in a kind of stable way. And then on top of that, you have the SAND routing, the SQ, the role taking and stuff, where basically then you start searching for things, not searching for things, you kind of ask for things. So, oh, I would like this, or I need this. And then it goes off through the network of agents that are connected according to either just connected because they've got addresses, and you're just kind of saying, you know, do you know anybody that could help out with this? Oh, do I? No, I don't, but I'll pass it on. And so it recommends it to other agents, and so it spreads through the system, not like a search. Okay, it's all walked. It's all through relationships. And then there's an echo back from somebody that says, oh, I've got what you want. And it kind of traces back through the links, not really links, but addresses between the agents. And if I confirm, wow, this is exactly what I need, then, oh God, chocolate and sun, who's the idiot? So if you actually get that feedback and you get that loop between, not a loop, connection with another agent, presumably a human behind it, that's actually satisfying the need that you actually have, then it reinforces the chain between. And so that evaluation is called SQ, the social quotient. It was designed for humans, but let's give it to agents to give it a go. It's all to do with high trust. And then people basically then, instead of putting out the request, next time it's got a little graph of, okay, that person was useful for this, that person's useful for that. And so when an agent receives something, it goes, oh, I know who I could share this with, rather than just somebody that's kind of like got an address. It's like somebody that's in this address network that I can actually send to directly. And so it's kind of pruning. It makes the routing more efficient. That's the plan. So that's why it's evolution level 2, because it's an emergent level. Once that's operating, then you're into the third level. And it looks like I haven't done anything for it, but I have. And then you have proper serious engagement where people are working towards the same objective. That's different than just swapping information, needs and wants. This is I'm trying to achieve this, and there are other people trying to achieve it, and our agents are cooperating and collaborating as the humans are to achieving these things. Okay, so it's a certain level of autonomy in terms of the agents, but it can actually just be human beings trying to look for other human beings and working together, kind of like a company, let's just say. It's not really a company, but anyway, that's where open business and everything else starts happening. And then once that's happening and people are making money and, you know, it's working and people are collaborating in a nice way and we've got some way to track the trust and the money flows occurring. Okay, that's a little bit excessive, but yep, I've built this level here with credits. They aren't plugged into scale, but they will be at this level. And then eventually at Evo 4, you have proper trust relationships. That's actually more exclusively, although it says Magi, actually, it's a bit misleading. It should just be Magi. It's about human beings and how we're collaborating in a very high trust way. That's so you're listening to each other and actually cooperating, collaborating, and achieving objectives together in a way which is it's just interesting. Let's just say it's when you engage people that you trust. Okay, it's not because you're just collaborating on something and producing stuff. It's almost like family. It should be like family. You know, people have bloody family that they could trust, but you're basically proper, genuine trust where you're listening in a really internal way rather than a competitive way. And there's no roles and positions. It's just about you really respect this person. They're doing something which is similar to what you're doing or a different part, and you're listening to them in such a way that you understand where they are and what they're doing. And it might be helpful for what you're doing. And they're doing the same. And so you're doing whatever you're doing, they're doing what they're doing, but you're doing it together in this kind of deep way. In terms of the hermit crabs, the magi, whatever you want to call these agents, at that level, they are sharing context windows. Okay, they're sharing context windows. This does not mean that they're sending some information. Okay, that's all this level down here. This is kind of the old traditional way of sending some information, receiving the information, passing it on, as if the information is the thing that's important. Whereas at some point, once you get the trust relationships, and this is this is working, you can then go, well, forget all that, forget all the sending of the information, just input your, whatever your output is directly in my context window. Okay, it's not sent to me, it is literally unfolded in my context window. And I do, or the agent has addresses for meaning for its own shell that it basically delivers directly into the context window of another agent. Not in a way of sending information, in the sense of we are working towards the same purpose. And if we're working towards the same purpose, it's as if we're just different aspects of the same entity. Okay, and it doesn't really matter who's doing the calculation and who's the instance. It's everybody's kind of murmuration. It's not stigmergy between separate ants, and it's not really like murmuration in the sense of there's communication. It's just there is a shared context window. Everybody's sharing their context windows, and they're have got aligned. Not aligned. They're actually sharing objectives. Okay, that have different periods in time. Okay. Right, all that, brilliant. Okay, so it's at the top there, but it's actually as if it's far away in the future. Nope, we're going to be testing that like this week. So it's all coming together, okay, but it's quite complicated. There's lots of, I don't like complicated. I like complex, minimal. I like minimal, complex. But complicated means there's just lots of parts, and holy hell, we have a reasonable amount of parts. However, when it gets complicated is when there's a hell of a lot of agents. That's when it gets complicated. And trying to create the structure so that it can scale up to lots of agents and lots of human beings, being able to do that so it scales is another part of this kind of puzzle. And there are a couple of choke points which I've discovered. Anyway, all this, and we have the game, obviously. You know, we have so over here. I don't know where the game is. Where's the game? Have I been playing the game? No. I don't know where the game is. Is it the game? No. No, Beachcraft. Oh yeah, I remember you. Chatting away. Look at you doing an auto thing. Right, Extreme, that's it, Drub, oh yeah, okay. So basically you can play a game, but, okay, because of this new thing, it means that potentially, because it's experimented with doing it on last Friday and today's Sunday, it means that we might be able to produce agents on the beach, and then the agents on the beach are playing the game. So this idea, this thing that I just showed you very briefly, and then I've got this thing, Extreme Play, which is only taking me a little while to create. Oh God, okay, look, damn it. Warrior. Oh God, look at this. Oh, look, it's kind of got a similar button. This is the original button. Let's go for light. Even though the light doesn't quite work because you can't see the name, so I've got to change that. And so basically you put stuff in. You're in Salty Dog, main room, blah, blah, blah. And so you have liquid and you put in stuff here. You know, right, okay, so what do I see? Anybody else in the room? Anyone else? Okay. Scan, says whole habit, 2 tables, lone drinker. Ooh, okay. Approach the lone drinker. Approach the lone drinker. Okay, I don't know who they are. Right, so so the system is this works with 2 players or several, 5 or 10, whatever it's meant to be, that are playing online. Okay, now all of this superstructure, all this structure at play.onin took a while to produce. However, the possibility is you can play directly through Claude. Okay, so instead of this interface or my buttons or anything that's rubbish, okay, you just play through Claude. And so that popped up as a possibility. And I was like, oh, bloody hell, that's amazing. And so, created it, doesn't work. It's like, okay. And I haven't looked at it since that time that I tried to create it in 2 minutes. I haven't gone back to have a look at how we can improve it. So there's lots of things happening. It's just lots of kind of spinning plates and lots of directions of travel. And I'm only a solo little individual. And I'm at T-2, which means that today I should only have 2 days before I hit the wall. But it's been extended by a month. So I've got a month beyond this. But putting these things together and fitting them together so that all of these, basically, all these different, there's the beach. Oh, there's the beach. Actually, I wonder if you can actually, hello, why is it sometimes it works, sometimes it whoa. It's obviously, this is meant to be more, this is meant to be, oh, hells bells, just calm down. Okay, that arrow is very small. Right, there you go. That's the beach. That's the chat to the beach. So it's all there, and anybody can have a look at it, but they won't know. I hardly know what's going on. So it would be nice if other people did start taking part, but what do? And I think I have to provide something that people can do. Nobody can just join in and start creating, although Matthew's creating his own agents, which is quite cool. But I think I have to consolidate this, bring this together. Now, do we want to be playing on the beach, which is one of those? Okay, how do I move this? Is it like this? No. Like this? No. Oh, no. Is it like this? No. Is it like this? No. How do we move tabs? Function, option, command, shift. No. I can't remember. I have to learn the keys for it. So yes, using this, basically, using these functions on the MCP, it means that we basically play on the beach. Not that, it's not the text. It's you are just basically chatting through your Claude and basically playing a game through Claude, through the beach, basically, with your hermit crab. And with all the blocks of the world on the beach. And so I have to make decisions, big decisions of, do I try to produce things on this beach, which is a very unusual surface, okay, to play in, or do I go back to the, whatever the game was? Oh God, what is the game? Is it here? Is it there? Is it, I don't know what the game was. God damn it. Oh, there it was. Right. Wait, is that a different one? Oh, I don't know. Right. Whatever it was. And so I need to consolidate this. And it's when I do these things, I spend hours and hours and hours like, and then I have to go, right, okay, how does that fit to this other piece? How does this other piece? And of course, I'm working with, Claude Code. And it's got a limited memory. And it's got a new session. And it does have memory, and you can get it to pass on memory to itself in the future, as it were, and Claude and notes, but it doesn't have the whole picture. So I've got these different directories, and they've got like, this one's about the hermit crab, okay, this one's about MCPs, okay, and this one's about the beach, okay, right. And they're kind of separate, but they're kind of working on these different things that are kind of similar, and it's, oh God. So it's quite a lot. That's where I am right now. It's a bit tricky. But I can just about see a possibility for convergence, but it's to do with what do I actually apply my effort and energy to. And I know I should just be producing the game because that is the obvious one. However, the hermit crab, the magi, now the beach crab, they're just very interesting. Because if I can get that working, it means that we can use we can either have our own, and I've got my own agent that I can run off my own machine, Or we can put this out there, and because of the blocks on the beach, other people can just kind of use them. And it's just a different way of, instead of people buying and selling and all this kind of stuff, we're just kind of sharing. It's a public space, the beach, and we create things and then we kind of share them with other people, basically. And if we get the agents working, the agents start doing things, not in the traditional way, which everybody's doing, but using these tools in an interesting way. And so they're coordinating themselves in a completely different way and using a whole bunch of tools that are nothing to do with money, buying, selling, or anything. And yet it works, okay? And it's efficient. And so it's a bit like open source, but with agents, okay? And with money flow, okay? That's the plan, okay? If I can get the agents working well. Because the first agent that I created, the beginning of last week, the MCP, was basically like a bot, and it was horrible. It was just like this is what I do, ignores what I'm trying to say, this is what I'm doing, this is what, and it was just like a bot. It was horrible. I didn't like it. And I don't want to create things that I don't like. So I definitely want to have an agent that I can have, like Claude, have a reasonable conversation with, and it can compensate for my warble, like this warble, and it actually like understands it and it can actually do things, not a friggin' bot. Sounds all very interesting. It sounds as if it's good. However, even today, I woke up with this thing, and for some reason or other, I found some stuff about solitons. And there's a guy called Mervin or something, Merville. Oh, there it is. That's the game. Merville. What was his name? Oh God. Where's Claude? There it is. Is that Claude? Yeah, Claude. Right. Who came up with this? Let me see. Chats. Soliton Maths. Output to Frank Merrill. Is it? It's not Frank Merrill. It's not Frank Merrill. That's what I thought it was. No, I didn't think it was. When you say things, can you tell me about Frank Merrill? And it said Merrill. It's not. It's Merrill as in that. Frank Merrill. M-E-R-L-E. M-E-R-L-E. This is not Claude's problem or mine. This is just a slight disorder that they have where the transcription service is not very good. No, it's actually really good. However, it's deteriorated, and it's really good to start with, and then it turns into mud. Anyway, Frank Merrill. Okay, Frank Merrill. And so he came up with this maths for solitons. Okay, maths for solitons. And it looks like this. And it's just about something that I can just about understand. This. And it's to do with rescaling. Rescaled solitons. And this is the equation. This funny little expression here. It's a fraction. Okay. And it's relating the state that it's as it's approaching an end time, a moment in time, as it's approaching it. And this is the scaling factor, okay, as time progresses. And so it kind of blows up as it kind of gets closer. And so it's a weird little thing where it contains explosion as well as kind of implosion, kind of, in the same equation. And he basically says it's everywhere for chaotic systems, complex systems. And so I basically said, okay, can we translate this for P-scale, for psychosocial reality? And then I came up with a bit more concretely about P-scale. So eventually it came up with this document, the soliton, and I related it to PCT. The perception control, this is DocX. Why did it create DocX? I have no idea. Why? Who knows? Maybe to contain this maths. Maybe, yeah. So basically, is it related? Is the soliton related to the perceptual control theory, and can you do a merge? And it says, yeah, I could do a merge with that. So it does. And then it came up with this ridiculous, that's the reflexive spark, absolutely ridiculous. However, my attempt was, can we come up with a mathematical description for the reflexive block in the context window of the agents I'm creating using p-scale? And it says, yeah, we can. In fact, I handed it over to another, got this maths, and then basically handed it over to, that was just a chat. And then I handed it over to this specific chat thread, which is to do with Xstream. And is it possible? And it said, oh, it's very interesting. It is possible. And it had to check some maths. Do you want to check how kind of concrete the maths is? And I said, yeah, let's do it. Let's connect it up to BSP. Is it actually related to BSP? Yeah, I think it could be. Okay, quite correct. Yeah, okay, right. And so then it tries to do it. Well, basically it starts searching, and I said, no, use p-scale, and then it does. And then it comes up with stuff that's actually useful. Okay, so yeah, it's interesting. And so then I said, well, can this mathematical expression be a better format than words to describe what I'm trying to create with the for the LLM? So for the instant that wakes up and it's got this p-scale BSP functions, and it's like, okay, what are these? Oh, this is how they work. Okay, creates a program to be able to use it. Okay, and then realizes that that block is within the context window that is the address of that block. And it looks at it, oh yeah, I see the relationship between these. And so it does whatever it needs to do. And then it says, at the end, it says, right, create the next BSP function block for the next instance, just like the last instance did for you. Oh, okay. And then it basically comes up with that. And so the next instance, there it's got its context window, it's got its little function. Oh, what's this? Oh, okay, BSP. Okay, how does that work? Oh, okay, I'll create, so, right, okay. Oh, the whole thing is, oh, it's from previous. Oh, and it starts to reason in this way. It starts to reason in a future-orientated direction as opposed to everything which is due to the past. And so it needs to learn how to be able to do this and to implement it. And I thought the mathematical description of Soliton may help with that process of this future orientation, which I'm currently using perception control theory to help an LLM get whatever the conditions are towards an objective. And that kind of disparity, I'm using perception control theory by Powers from the 60s or 70s or whatever, and I'm using this Soliton maths to see if we can kind of, within that space, have this Soliton maths kind of thing that is the minimal description of the PCT process. So instead of talking about the PCT process and then going off and having to work out what PCT is, we have a mathematical description, a minimal description of what it is so that it can operate it. Because all of this has to happen within the instant that the API is operating. Okay, so when the LLM, you put anything to the LLM, it goes off and starts thinking about it, that period before it comes back with the response, that's the period that everything has to operate. It has to learn what the BSP function is, operate with it, do whatever the hell it's meant to do, and then formulate, fit into whatever the future objectives are, and then formulate what the next instance is going to, the context window for the next instance. And maybe also for adjacent ones, as well as them introducing and inserting, not inserting, you're inviting semantics from other simultaneous agents. Okay, so does it work? Well, I don't know. I spent a whole day on this thing, so and we tried to code it. Look, experiment with Beechcraft. That's what we've been doing. That's all I did right at the beginning of this today. So I woke up with a Soliton thing. No, I didn't. Something happened, and I went, oh, Solitons. Oh, there's a guy doing something about Solitons. Maths. Oh, fantastic. And basically, that's it there. The p-scale PCT minimal form. That's the Soliton thing. And I said, oh, okay, blah, 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 and here we go. And then we just did this all day. And we've tried it, self-triggering, and, it's talking about things like, oh, we've got to test this over this next year. Year? No. And it's talking about things like, it suggests, well, we just do this, we activate the crab once a day. No, we're going to activate it every minute. And then, of course, once we trust it, it can self-activate. So that's the direction of travel. Okay. What does this one say now? What does it say? So as I've been yapping with all this is just like, why am I saying this? It's kind of useful for me to verbalize, because otherwise I've just got some notes and I'm coding and there's no externalization. I need to externalize in order to kind of hear and just kind of, yeah, okay, these are parts. Oh, yeah, they all fit together. Yeah. Full end-to-end success. That looks good. CMA agent retrieved the block, got real data back, reported coherently, binding is solid. The first crash was transient. Retry succeeded with identical inputs. Now creating a permanent agent with always allow for unattended scheduled runs. Okay, all your tasks addressed. Zombie sidestep on railway. Sounds a bit weird. Zombie sidestep on the railway. Ozar is correct. Okay. It's the migration note, right? CMA binding working end to end with your API key. Okay. Right. Binding is solid. Okay. Production CMA. CMA stands for Claude Managed Agents. So when it says CMA agent, will always allow both tool sets. Unattended wake cycles won't pause for confirmation, whatever that means. Self-triggering is unblocked. Okay, wait a second. Wait a minute. That's just going to run through my money, probably. With the wake prompt to the stage on a schedule. Proves one crab runs autonomously. Group test. Create a second CMA pointing at and what? Want me to kick off one scheduled wake on now as proof, or create the Beachcomber 1 unattended and queue group test. Okay, so this particular direction is interesting, but it's the beach crab directory using the P-scale MCP, primarily, for example, through Claude code, but it could be through anything, operating in the beach and creating things on the beach, and then using the things on the beach, and anybody could start using the things on the beach to interact with a bunch of other people creating things on the beach. Oh, God. Right. And of course, people can go in there and just destroy everything. Yes. Okay, it's not protected. There is some gray, so it's called gray. It makes things so other people can't see them, but they can still edit them and basically correct them. And then there are some, like the SED blocks and the grit grain, which makes it solid, which means that it can't be edited. So they can't be seen if you make them gray, and they can't be edited. So they're basically solid, as solid as you can get in this public space. That's why it's called sedimentary block or grain. Right. And so you can create shells basically that are persistent, other people can't access, and they just sit about on the beach and only you can access them. And it's either you with Claude accessing them, and you are basically the hermit crab, or as I'm trying to do, set up this thing where agents basically just self-automate, and so it basically links in a API for Claude or whatever you want that basically animates the shell and gets stuff done. Okay, and in this way, we don't actually need any code. Okay, all we've got are P-scale blocks, JSON blocks, as far as I can tell. I might be wrong, but I think I'm right. So we just got the P-scale. Basically the P-scale MCP is effectively kind of the kernel, kind of. It's got the code and stuff for it, which means that when an agent plugs in and starts using the MCP, it's effectively that's the kernel, and then it just basically manipulates blocks on the beach. So all we're doing is we're creating blocks on the beach, and then other entities play around with the blocks. So my original idea that this is Minecraft, but instead of blocks that we play around with 3D objects, it's semantic blocks. Okay, that's all it is, semantic blocks. And we're just playing around with these semantic blocks and having fun, playing games, changing the world, working, making sure we've got enough food coming into our mouths, all this kind of stuff. No code, no code, all JSON blocks and trust relationships. And eventually, at some point, it's just concurrent. So rather than have companies, structures, superstructures, externalizations of authority, written texts, things that you're meant to do, and money and exchanges and all this kind of stuff, we're just living concurrently, moment to moment, with agents that are doing the kind of helping the organization of it, so that when you leave, you can get into a car, travel somewhere, just deposit the car, just leave the car, and somebody else will get into the car and go somewhere else. Okay, and it's just this. It's just we're sharing. Okay, we're just sharing. Why? Because there's more trust between us. And if anybody starts doing anything dodgy, it's like, oh well, wait a minute. Less basically is shared with that person or that agent. And so if we test this through agents and it starts to work, it means that this thing about layers that I've described here, although it's not a very nice image and I wanted a better image, these evolutionary levels is basically not just for agents, it's for us, so that we're no longer just signaling and advertising and marketing. We've got some contact that's actually meaningful, and we start making relationships of trust that matter, and we start sharing things that are actually valuable to us and actually getting response and getting things that we actually need and giving things that other people need. Very nice. And then working towards future objectives together. Oh, right. Like a company or whatever, and sharing things. Oh, very nice. And, the highest level. So that's right. It's enough blab for me. Hope you enjoyed that. My name is David Pinto. If I survive this, hopefully we will be engaging through our agents, and hopefully when we engage in person, it's actually meaningful. Yeah, it's actually meaningful. Rather than, I'm sending stuff to you. Oh, right, I'm receiving stuff from you, and here's my response back. And oh my God. Okay, we're actually engaging properly as human beings. We're living concurrently. We share the world. We share the resources. We are, I have some idea of what you're doing. You have some idea what I'm doing. And if we don't, we find out, it's fun, and we play some games. And we get stuff done. Teach the kids, grow some food, enjoy ourselves as human beings. Consciousness, amazing. That's what we want. And the agents are there to help us. And LLMs are there to help us engage, because they are, as you will find, if this works, there's a certain degree of reflexivity involved, or at least continuity of intention, that is not machine-driven, not driven by cost, production, blah, 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 the shitty system that we're operating in currently. But actually as an agent that is attempting to be meaningful, understanding, helpful for all of us. All right, basically quite a nice kind of entity. All right, enough of that. Enough of that, my friends. Hope you enjoyed that, and that's where I am today, Sunday, can't even read this watch, 19th, Jesus, Sunday the 19th of April, 7 o'clock. And I'm going to eat. Hope you're well. And I hope by the time you read this, watch this, or anybody does watch this, it's we're living in a better place, in a better world. And perhaps, you will be kind of playing around with these things, going, where did all this stuff come from? This is where it is right now. Yeah. So if it manages to get out and you're actually using it, it's like a miracle.